In my case, by September, October last year, I realised how tired I was all the time. My sleep was poor, with days off never enough to get back into balance. Leave was a non-event as there was nowhere to go, therefore no break away from work. And during leave, there was always constant requests to fly more. I became incredibly grumpy. I just felt very detached. I'd never felt that sort of fatigue before. As I said, you were used to feeling tired, but it was that tired. You knew things were happening around you, but you couldn't focus or concentrate on anything.
Pilot fatigue is not a new issue. BALPA's campaigned hard to put the problem in the spotlight. Now COVID-19 has brought new dimensions to that problem, and many pilots are feeling the effects.
It was just totally not normal. Or pilots were all either tired, disenfranchised, so it was difficult to keep the morale up. The most common things I heard were, rosters are brutal, I'm so tired all the time, my sleep is so poor, now I have to stop on my drive home. These should all be big red flags.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw a lot of pressure on cost and survival from operators who are releasing only the absolute minimum number of crews back to the line. That would mean some people were left at home whilst others were maxed out.
What we have seen in many operators is long existing scheduling agreements, arrangements, either dismantled or in some cases completely removed. And this means that pilots are having to adjust their sleep strategies, adjust their rest strategies. Operators still have pilots on pay cuts. So it's that financial problem as well, linked in with the extra flying, we think could be a problem for the industry, and it needs careful attention.
As part of our ongoing work, we're engaging with companies, with operators, in terms of how they roster pilots. But the message we like to get across to our members, the pilots, is to always keep the conversation around fatigue alive. Talk about fatigue, and if you do feel fatigued, please consider reporting that.
What we have done as part of the fatigue and scheduling group at BALPA is introduce a card for members to put in their wallet to refer to the Carolyn's, the sleepiness scale. What we'd like to do is ask people to discuss that at different phases of flight, from report to off duty, to understand where their levels of fatigue are. Once we have that, we would like members to report how they are feeling.
We use the mantra report, report, report. You report it and we'll support it. Because without proper reporting, we won't have the data to be able to make change. And already, coming out of the pandemic, we've seen several operators change practices because of the reporting from the pilots. Good, solid data is the way forward.
The problem is you feel guilty for putting your hand up and saying, I need a time out now, I can't do this anymore, because you're so aware of other colleagues that lost their jobs and everything else, so there's a guilt factor as well. It was the hardest call I made, but by far the most important. My manager was fantastic, along with my GP and AME, and I was signed off. Listen to your body, your family and friends. Your well-being and health is the most important thing in the world.
Even home life, we're getting reports of problems, moodiness, irritability that is not normal. So we need to understand that, and the only way we're going to do that is if people continue to report. We'd suggest that if you didn't wish to report to your operator, there are other avenues open to you as well. There's Chirp, there is the directly to the CAA via the confidential reporting system, or their whistleblowing system as well.
And also they can contact their company councils, or they can contact us here at BALPA Direct.
So there are 3 key takeaway points I'd like to make. Number 1, consider your fatigue levels during your working day. So not just your flight, but also prior to your journey home at the end. Number 2, discuss fatigue with your colleagues. So be aware of your own fatigue levels and those of your colleagues, and make sure it doesn't become a flight safety risk. And remember, if you feel unfit, it's both your right and your duty to declare that, and BALPA will support you in those things. And thirdly, the mantra is report, report, report. Without your fatigue reports, without the data, we can't take action. So no data, no action. Please report.